Alright, hello out there to the whole terrain adaptive combat terrestrial family. Welcome to the next T.A.C.T update here as we now embark anew into 2018, and I would formally like to wish a happy new year to all of you out there in the T.A.C.T family of the past and the present as we settle into a new romp and a new outlook of opportunity that can be given to us and that we can work towards with a new year and a new perspective with the head on the shoulders that we've got right now. So, to catch those up to speed, for those that are intact that haven't been up to date, or that haven't been up to date, or for those out there that are probably the wandering eyes and wondering where T.A.C.T is going next, I will elucidate briefly onto the previous T.A.C.T update that I had created regarding the end and the finality of our run in 2017. Once my analysis there is complete, then I will go into detail on what we are working on now in 2018 concerning our T.A.C.T expansion project's next phase of evolution in trying to branch out towards Xenoverse, Overwatch, and to continue to establish ourselves into rank mode mindsets in playing Rainbow Six Siege and Ghost Recon Wildlands. But before I get to the present, I first need to speak on what was previously addressed in the past. Okay. So in my previous documentation here for a truthful conclusion, which was my concluding synopsis about our run and the general activities and T.A.C.T's general mental state of being following the end of 2017. A lot of the clan had just shut down at that time, and so I felt that in my position I needed to take complete charge of this situation and issue a decree that was to happen effective immediately in placing terrain adaptive combat terrestrials in full under a present state of inactivity, in view of the fact that in real life is taking over, and that's normal. It's not a bad thing. Factors in real life are more important than what happened in a video game, and so the fact that the majority, or at that point 3/4 if not almost all of T.A.C.T would suddenly be inactive or unresponsive all the time or more than need be was unfortunately expected. And I did prepare for this situation ahead of time just in case this was to happen, because it is a fate that is pending to happen when running a large clan, and running a clan like this that is trying to be operational on more than one grid at the same time. And so trying to control things from different fronts can be a rather tedious juggle. And as those in the community were able to understand or comprehend the situation that I was being slowly put into in a corner, there were a few past clan leaders in the community, a couple of the present clan leaders, and a few of the past clan leaders that are not of the community anymore but still do chime in every now and again to see what's happening in the community, that had highly foreseen me making this move in placing T.A.C.T in inactivity long before I went on ahead and made the decree to make it official. And so in that regard, in actually having somewhat of a sixth sense in judging my next move very carefully, I give you guys credit, and I do thank you in acknowledging and seeing the ups and the downs that were happening at that time with our group and with my team, and how we've been slowly trying to pick ourselves back up and get back to where we were and keep a good thing going. The steps in reclaiming this past ground is still a little shaky right now, but we all got to start somewhere. In that regard, that does address the whole totality of that situation in the past of why I placed T.A.C.T into a state of inactivity. With today's date pending, as of January the 15th of 2018, which is not that far off, I will officially be lifting the decree I had placed on terrain adaptive combat terrestrials, and so we will no longer be inactive. We will now resume being an active clan again, and so we will be able to take clan battles or clan battle requests from that said date forward until further notice, or if something may change or shift in our camp. Updates will be pending if said changes or unforeseen alterations may ensue. In addition, as the closer here for this, the position of the Vice Commander role has been seen to, and I know that this was a huge issue that T.A.C.T did want me to bring into highly considered thought before I needed to make this decision, and this decision did have to be made as soon as possible upon T.A.C.T going into inactivity. As you all know, this position has been seen to 5 previous times before the present choice I've made now, and all 5 times it has not been successful. I had to think long and hard about how I wanted to set this up, because I know that if this was not done correctly, the adverse effect of what would happen is that not only would there be a 6th time where this could potentially be a failing point of the clan in those not stepping up to assume general responsibilities that's giving to them, or that's in view of the fact that they could potentially be responsible but are not when the chips are down. This will also cause a huge collapse in team morale, in the fact that a lot of T.A.C.T would be worried that there could not be somebody wholeheartedly that can take my place if they have to take my place. And in all those past situations, those were times where it had to be done, but it was not seen to. And as it was stated and seen to, I had to go back in and finish what was not to be started by me. The people that I've considered in doing this role now, they know of all the past decisions, and they've also assessed their own trials and errors in assessing what was right and what was wrong in the choices that I made, as well as the choices that said individuals made in my absence before I had to come back into the scene. When I stayed up one night on PlayStation 4 talking with them, they gave me their input on why I did feel that it was a good move, why they felt that it was a good move at the time. They did expect more, but it's okay because it was their first time being in that being in the position. One of them, it was the second time being in that position. Their inputs were highly in-depth and derived off of very good fact, and it also allowed me to see a couple of failing points that I myself may have created or have done without necessarily realizing it. And so I feel that my decision here is of a just basis that in theory can work, but we won't know until we take our first clan battle back into the jam and see what can happen, or see how this will all play out over time and how the system of communications will work. That'll be another issue that I will go into later on in this segment, as you will see. Starting in 2018, this was made official on GameFAQs.com, as I did officially make the announcement there before conducting my thesis here about our return back into the scene. And so it will be stated and official as such still. As this was a joint decision that they both wanted, I hereby place both WTF Server, T.A.C.T Tigertron, and Moonwalker 11112, or T.A.C.T Azrael, as the official second-in-command or vice commanders of terrain adaptive combat terrestrials, respectively. And this has been made official as the clan has agreed with my decision and where I intend to go with this. There will be the number 2, and so if the time does come, or if it does come again in the future, if it may, where I do have to forcefully step down or respectfully step down or step aside in order to deal with factors in real life, and I am foreseeing that there is going to be more times where this may happen. Server and Walker both will respectfully take my place, so if I step down, those guys step right up and continue the work as best as they are able to. While their PSN availability may differ or vary at times, all you guys have to do, T.A.C.T, is keep them in the know as best as you are able to, as you would me. That way they can stay on top of all the situations pending. If there's any questions or concerns, you can always ask them or ask me, or you can just ask them, see what their input is, and then we can always talk about it later on, as I know they will likely see me or seek to have an audience with me, which we can also then hash out said issue or issues that may ensue, and take it from there as time will tell. Their PSN app or the WhatsApp, whatever that little doohickey is on the little phone things that allows you to talk with people even when they're offline, they have that feature up almost all the time. So if they're not working or if they're not out, then boom, they'll just be able to pick that message up and likely get back to you within like 10-15 minutes or something. And you can talk to them about what you need to talk about if you can't reach me, and vice versa. Preferably, I would want you to reach out to them more so than me, as my availability also will likely shift over time. Reach out to them more, that way they can be more intertwined with a lot of T.A.C.T's inner workings without me always having to bring them up to speed. But they can also try to interpret the situation for themselves and can also develop their own identities as the vice commanders. And to let them have a say or let them have their own voice and their own input. That way you have an idea of the shaping of a situation and what they're likely to say or how they're likely to give you good advice or a good perspective of the situation pending as opposed to anyone else's. Again, developing their own identities. This will happen more over time, although I feel that it'll probably go by pretty quickly. Everybody in T.A.C.T Barracks knows Walker and Server for a long time, and so you guys definitely know the work. You know the people, you know the personalities. Let them get to know you and establish something, you know? That will conclude my focus for that topic of conversation. Any other questions, comments, or concerns, by all means leave it in the comment section below. My focus now will shift to the next pending article here, Article 2, which is going to be concerning the T.A.C.T expansion project on PlayStation 4. Here amidst council with fellow T.A.C.T commanders overseeing the PlayStation 4 side of things here, Aquamegadeath666 and Angelus, respectfully. The next direction for PlayStation 4 expansion seems to be just about solidified. And so the first active measure here is that we are officially deciding on restoring the Minecraft division. And so T.A.C.T will now respectfully be associated with Minecraft again. There was a past update that I had given a long time ago about the preceding overseers or branch managers, let's say, of said division that were associated with T.A.C.T for a good amount of time. It was Jacob the Usher and Larry the Third, respectfully, I believe. Larry the Third more predominantly over time. That did eventually fall out of the limelight with playing Minecraft and then just kind of went off to do their own thing and were no longer really associated with T.A.C.T after a while, and so the branch kind of just fell under. And so Arg, Skull, myself at that time made the decision in order to pull it off the table in full, and then we might bring it back for a future point in time. And so the future council at present between me, Arg, Angelus, and Aquamegadeath, all of us continued to ponder that, and then we did decide, for the heck of it anyway, since the majority of them play Minecraft on PlayStation 4 for the heck of it, then there would not be any pending issue at this time in simply restoring the past branch that we had taken down. And so that's why we went on ahead and made the call to just go on ahead and bring Minecraft back in full. So for any of you guys going ahead and playing Minecraft on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3, go on ahead and seek it in T.A.C.T chat, as I'm pretty sure a good chunk of players probably play it and just don't say anything, or play it on the down low. So, you know, ask and I shall receive. Next, Article 3, wait a minute, Minecraft branch would be Article 3. Article 4 would be that we will be in a test run we will be conducting the open up shop on having T.A.C.T establish an Overwatch branch. I find this intriguing because it is not the first time this proposal was brought up over the past few expansion project meetings that we've had in order to try and develop new video gaming paradigms we can venture into. But it's also understood that not everybody can financially have access to said video games. So while I can say yes, and did say yes, the likelihood of a lot of people delving into this for it to be a full-time thing is not likely foreseeable. But time can change things. People's birthdays come up. People get bonuses. So I mean, there's always a chance you can drop the $50 or $60 into just popping and picking up the Overwatch and playing it like there's no tomorrow. But I'm going to let you know now, it's going to get very boring unless you're playing it with friends. It's a game where it's meant to be played with friends, so if you're playing it by yourself, you're going to get bored very, very quickly. So be sure to try and have yourself a list of constructed activities to utilize and enjoy while playing that game, and by all means, do enjoy. Play to your heart's content, my friends. So for those of you who didn't understand, it is a yay that T.A.C.T will be trying out an experimental process for Overwatch, and we will still also keep the branch open for Paladins Champions of the Realm, even though I'm pretty sure not too many people play Champions of the Realm anymore. We'll still keep it there just to keep it relevant as an option. Next is Article 5. Ghost Recon Wildlands, and this was uniquely unanimous as from RedPrimus, Kids 4-2 and 1-2-3-4, X was blue, and Jealous, Aqua Megadeth spearheading this one, and there was two other people in the chat room that also did have this game that did also say for a yay, and so it was decisive that okay, terrain adapted combat terrestrials will now also be associated with Ghost Recon Wildlands. This one I am actually all for in a second thought in thinking about why we took a vote on it. Because a lot of us do play the game from time to time whenever it's pending or have played it and tried it out. Me personally, I find it to be an excessively soothing and relaxing gameplay where you can just go in and just do whatever the hell it is you want to do within reason. It takes a lot of unique game mechanics from other open world video games, but somehow with the way that this video game does it from Activision, it makes it its own. And you have a way to pretty much make your own story or make your own type of gameplay in order to finish the campaign however you want to finish it, based off of how the game just throws it at you with so many different types of elements intertwined. And it's like, do it, don't do it, take your time getting to it. Leroy Jenkins it, however you want to go. It's a game where you can basically use your imagination to do whatever it is you want to do to complete anything you want to do in the game. And there's never any rush. Only thing that ever happens over time is that the difficulty will occasionally escalate the longer that you play. And the longer you play, the easier it becomes, so it's a rather unique counterbalance that the game just happened to put in for people that put more hours into the gameplay. And I like that. And I think that other people may like this feature as well, if they seek to have more of an involvement in that game grid, or just to try new things out and see where the whole open world paradigm of that video game can take a player. And you'd be very surprised where it goes. In terms of the branch expansion project's continuation, I believe that we'll cover it for right now. For any questions, comments, or for any other pending inclusions of where you can see T.A.C.T potentially having a presence in order to keep clan activities pending and relevant, and to keep them up to date, by all means list them in the comment section below, or contact myself, Angelus, Aqua Megadeth 666, the commanders of T.A.C.T, or Moonwalker and WTF Server, the vice commanders of T.A.C.T, respectfully. Thank you. Next is the final article of my address, also to the T.A.C.T family here, presently, which has also been previously addressed to the community. Having decided to effectively take a note from the preceding overseers of the community and also preceding YouTubers in the community, Danakey85 and Straxzaxx Prime respectively. I will be creating and launching my very own tournament for the Fall of Cybertron community, known as the Makers of Strategy, or MOS, tournament. The finalization process is almost complete, and all I have to do now is wait for a few of the people that usually oversee GameFAQs, like Mad Dog and Yugle and Clunker, to respectfully give a little bit more input on their perspectives and the pros and the cons of my tournament. Once that is done, we'll be all set to go. Meanwhile, while that's happening now, I'm seeking a full-time assistant in order to help me with the setting up and the overseeing managing of my tournament. This is easier said than done, I assure you, because the person which I'm seeking has to be a completely and fully responsible and unbiased individual and highly knowledgeable of how tournament inner workings go from both sides of the fence. That way you don't make an unbiased judgment just because you don't like or dislike the situation or the person or persons involved in said situation. You have to give a completely educational and thorough didactic observation that's going to give the most reasonable and unchallenged conclusion for a situation, should any situation arise that may challenge the rules that I created for the tournament. Said individuals I've been seeking so far just incorporate either LGFMB, Diablo Shadow, and Straxzaxx Prime respectively. Those I seek individually because they've all participated in many of the past tournaments and contests that have happened throughout the community over the years. Like I said, I'm mainly seeking out those three, as those three, from who I've interacted with and how long I've known them, are among they're very responsible individuals, and I can wholeheartedly trust their judgment to be educationally unbiased and thorough. And so I'll wait to hear back on a lot of them to see if they say yay or nay. Meanwhile, as this does finalize, a lot of the responsibilities I do have for T.A.C.T are going to be split down the middle, and so juggling both running a tournament and trying to run a clan and doing whatever it is I'm doing in real life, you can imagine is going to be vastly tiring and exhausting on many different levels. This is where I could be thankful for the Vice Commander roles, as the Vice Commanders respectfully are going to be taking the brunt or most of this weight off my shoulders in seeing to a lot of tax affairs, while my attention is going to be mutually and constantly divided. That way it doesn't have to be a stressful situation. It can be a more relaxing situation that will also allow a better sense of the responsibility and a more delving in sense for them to assume responsibility and their roles respectfully in dealing with tax affairs. That being said, I believe that does cover the totality, if not all, of tax present affairs that I needed to bring back to a head and bring to a public understanding for those in TAC that don't keep up consistently in the chat or don't stay on GameFAQs, or for those that aren't in TAC that do follow GameFAQs and follow me and follow my whereabouts and the happenings going on with TAC or my clan or what it is I'm working on, or how this tournament is going to play out, my general availability, and the works as such. And so, that being said, I will bid you guys adieu until the next TAC update that may come in the future. I wish us a steady return back into the scene of combat and teamwork, as it will be pending for many matches to come, and for the new trials that we will face in the coming 2018 venture. This is RedPrimus Prime signing off. Until the next time, and as always, y'all know the jam. Till all our